Thank you so much for tuning into this conversation. The year is ending on a high for WABAG. The company-led JV has secured a 4,400 crore seawater desalination project in Chennai. And Mr. Rajneesh Chopra, he's the Global Head of Business Development for WABAG, joins us right now to talk about this, about the order book, and more. Mr. Chopra, good having you. Thanks for joining in. I'm clearly seeing that all is well. Congratulations on this order. Tell us a bit about it.
Thank you so much, and a very good afternoon to you and your viewers. I think it's a very happy moment for us at WABAG, and as you rightly said, we have bagged a very large contract of 4,400 crores. It is a 400 MLD desalination plant, which is to be built in Chennai. It's very close to, the location is very close to where we have already built a 100 MLD plant in the past in Chennai. But the key thing is that in the entire Southeast Asia, there is nobody has ever contracted this capacity of desalination, and we are fortunate that Chennai Metro Water, our client, has reposed their faith in us with the second desalination plant. The funding comes from JICA, Japan International Cooperation Agency. It's a multilateral funded job, so which gives us very clear visibility on our receivables. And it's a project which will have a good cash flows. And going forward, we see that this project will be completed in 36 to 42 months, which will be followed by 20 years O&M. So this 20 years O&M will give us again an annuity income, which is definitely going to be of interest to all our stakeholders. Apart from this, you would have recently noticed that we bagged another contract of 800 crores in Bangladesh. So it is a new geography for us, first time. Again, it's a 200 MLD wastewater treatment plant, and it's again going to be completed in 3 years' time. And it's got a 5-year O&M also with this. And the key thing is that the funding again comes from multilateral agencies like World Bank and AIIB. So in both the contracts, I think in our last interaction, I had said that we are pretty sure that we'll be able to close 5,000 crore worth of contracts in this quarter, and we have already exceeded that. And we'll be closing the year at an all-time order backlog, which will give us further visibility over the next 3 years.
Yeah, in fact, some brokerages, I believe you had said that you expect 5,000 crores by April or May. So you've done it earlier, which is good news. So congrats on that as well. Quick follow-ups, Mr. Chopra. One, for this Chennai order, I see that it's a WABAG-led JV.
Right.
Suffice to say, therefore, that you are the lead partners in this. I mean, would you be able to share details about what's the share or stakes that you have currently, or is it not possible right now?
Okay, so I think, as I already said, it's going to be executed through a JV along with our partner Metito Overseas, which is another big desal player based out of UAE. So we are the lead partners in this particular contract. So we'll be leading this entire execution of the project along with them. Mm-hmm. And as I said, we are lead partners. We are just awaiting their confirmation. So maybe once we have that confirmation, probably we'll be able to make all our shares, public.
Okay. And I heard you mention for both the contracts that you won that there is also an O&M element attached to this. Now, is the O&M element usually a percentage of the actual order size, or nothing like that? Even if there is no fixed formula to it, but is it usually a particular percentage of this order size?
Neeraj, as far as this desalination is concerned, as I mentioned, it is 20 years. So probably roughly approximately around 30% of the total contract value will be for the O&M. In case of Bangladesh,
over and above the 4,400 crores, or is that a part of 4,400?
This is part of the contract.
Okay.
This is a design, build, operate contract. Similarly, this 800 crores, because it's only a 5 years, so maybe it will be a much smaller percentage in Bangladesh.
I get your point. Okay. Now, as of December, Mr. Chopra, you were northwards of 10,000 crores, just shy of 11,000 crores in terms of your overall order book, if I'm not wrong. You adding roughly 5,000 crores at the fag end of the quarter. I don't know if there's something else that happened in between, and there will be some execution. Is what prompting you to say that you're ending at an all-time high order book? And what is the visibility that you might have based on the bids that you might want to or have already put for, say, the next couple of quarters?
I think you're very right in your assessment. See, definitely we had a 10,000 crore order book at the end of Q3. And with these two orders itself is around 5,200 crore. So that is what is prompting me to tell you that we'll be ending the year with all-time high order backlog. Now, apart from this, if you would have observed in last 5 years, 5 to 6 years, the average ticket size of the contract which we have been bidding is only increasing. Because we realize that with larger projects and lesser number, probably we can give it more attention, especially when it comes to the execution phase. And that's strategic in nature. And also overseas, there are large contracts which are EP in nature, because that's also part of our strategy, that we will be only doing the EP, especially in the newer overseas geographies where we have not worked earlier. So that is apart from this. If you talk about the future bids, yes, we are bidding in some new contracts, both India and overseas, and all these contracts, they are high technology contracts. Like even if you see Bangladesh, there's the part of the contract, we have to generate energy from biogas and, run the plant with the green energy being produced within the plant. Similarly, other bids which we are now preferring, again, being a water technology company, it is more a technology component which we are targeting, and it's primarily desalination plants and recycle and reuse plants. And in both these segments, both in India and overseas, we expect a double-digit growth, at least for next 4 to 5 years. And that's going to be our focus area. But I think in times to come, you will see that our contract wins, they'll always be a little larger in size.
Okay. So here's my question then. One is the order inflow, which is looking strong. Execution, no questions. On the operational front, 2022 was arguably a year of higher input costs for most companies in your space or in the EPC space. Now, you are doing E&P, not the C necessarily, and therefore, I reckon that is a better, higher margin, accretive process. You are doing higher technical projects, which I presume, again, would give you slightly better pricing power and therefore slightly higher margins. And there is a possibility that input costs will come off as 2023 rolls by relative to 2022. So therefore, my question is, do you reckon that FY24 as a year looks materially different on the operational front? And does this improve as higher and higher proportion of your projects are more technical in nature or EP, and therefore there is a natural tailwind that you have to margins?
Okay. I think as far as EP is concerned, you're absolutely right. It is a strategic decision. We find, both in terms of cash flows, in terms of turnaround time, it is much faster for us. And we prefer this mostly in the overseas geographies where we have not worked generally in the past. So the it definitely aids our margins. And at the same time, in these large contracts, I would not say that we have very high margins, but we will have normal margins in all these high value contracts, which is expected at a global level. So, and third part of this thing is on the commodity pricing. Definitely, if commodity pricing comes down, I think we can see a further upside on the margins. But
will we see that impact in Q4 itself, Mr. Chopra?
See, I have a constraint right now to talk about anything on the coming thing, but being a silent period. So maybe next time when we interact post our Q4 and yearly numbers, I'll be able to throw more light on that.
Fair call. One quick question though, before we wrap up, and And I mean, you are a large player, arguably one of the largest around. But does an order of this magnitude in any fashion break any barriers in terms of getting other or enable you to bag other large contracts in other areas where you might not have gotten it until now?
So I think very valid questions from my viewpoint, especially being a business development guy. See, we did 100 milliliters per day desalination plant in India, in Chennai. We did a 200 mld desalination plant in Oman. Now, this is the largest desalination plant which we have been contracted to us. The key thing is that going forward, we are already amongst the top 10 desalination players in the world. But going forward, we'll find that our ranking will improve as and when we execute this project. Secondly, this is a growing market. The water scarcity has led a lot of countries and industries to, resort to desalination. So there are large desalination contracts which are likely to come up in northern part of Africa and Middle East countries. So earlier we were generally going with our partners to even qualify for very large bids. But definitely with this contract, WABAG alone will be able to qualify for majority of the bids globally coming in, either in desalination or recycle and reuse. So with this, we definitely move in a different league, and we look forward to a lot of growth coming from these two particular segments which I just mentioned.
Well, we wish you all the best for that. Understand you can't talk too many numbers right now, but we'll do that when the numbers come out or quarterly results come out. But for now, congratulations on a record order, and congratulations on ending the year with a record order book. All the best for FY24.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Neeraj.
The pleasure was ours. Viewers, thanks for tuning in.